Time for an ad. Time to pay the bills. Jacob, it is one of the best places and only places that you can go to support local Texas State athletes, your favorite athletes. It's Elite Sports. They have good NIL deals with some of your athletes that you support every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday in some cases. So go support them. Jacob, what are some of the athletes that they have over there for us?
Well, they just signed Malik Hornsby, so stay tuned for that. But you go to elitesports.com, they have a whole collection of Texas State athletes you can get behind. That's Ben McClain. That's Michael Budin. That's Austin Smith, Xavier Pettis, Mason Harrell. The list goes on and on, honestly. They just recently signed, as I was saying before, Malik Hornsby. So get ready for all those gear drops. It's just an exclusive look. It's a way to give back to the Texas State community, give back to the student athletes directly. EliteSports.com, use code SQUARE at checkout.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squarin' Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
Zimmel, I'm a moron. Because the last time we got on here, I was like, we're putting a bow on football. This is the last time we're going to talk about this team. It was lining up perfect because softball is on to the NCAA tournament. And baseball is on to the Sun Belt Conference tournament. So I was like, wonderful. This is such a way for us to just springboard back into the summer, start doing some summer content stuff, start doing some interviews again.
Activate rocket boosters! You idiot! You put them in backwards!
But now we have 7 quarterbacks, question mark?
Not 1, not 2, but 7.
That's our best bit yet.
How many quarterbacks is too many quarterbacks?
5, I could think, is like fine.
3? I think you should have 3. I think you should have 3. To quote the great philosopher Everett Withers, a pair and a spare. That's what you're looking for. You want 2 quarterbacks that are going to compete for the job and a third guy who can learn and if something happens can step in and fill that role. To have 7 tells me that GJ is still trying to figure out who's his guy. And we just got done talking about how good Malik Hornsby is when we look at the tape, when we look at the film of Arkansas. And now you add another SEC quarterback in TJ Finley, and you're thinking to yourself, is Malik really that good? Now, you know what I mean? Like, is he really that type of guy? Is he the guy? Because if you're still looking for your dude, then he might not be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about anything. Also, the Spurs got the number 1 pick.
Go! And that means that the number 1 pick in the 2023 NBA draft goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
So it's like, people are talking about Victor Wembanyama being better than, LeBron James, perhaps. It is like, this guy hasn't even played a game yet. None of these guys have played a game yet, except TJ Finley, who, as you were saying, probably has the most significant game reps. We got tipped off about that exclusive drop. But I was kind of like, what? Another one? And that was after our boy Carson Kaiser followed us on Twitter too. So,
and, you as our social media manager, you can't tweet anything negative about any of these guys. And I'm on the other side of the fence texting you being like, who the hell are all these dudes?
Like, why hasn't this guy dropped? Why hasn't this guy dropped? We were talking a little bit about this off air. There's no way people don't drop in the spring. Or this is summer now? Yeah, this is May.
Summer, yeah.
Yeah. Cool for the summer.
I was looking to try to find out when that next portal date is, because we both were like, okay, next time the portal opens up, a couple guys probably are going to be heading out. But at this point, it's getting kind of late in the game because
June is when you can jump in again.
When is?
I think it's June something.
June something. I think it was like maybe the 15th. Does that make sense? Does that number rings a bell in my head for whatever reason?
Provided the country does not default on their national debt.
And everyone in the meeting understood the risk of default. Our economy would fall into a significant recession. It would devastate retirement accounts, increase borrowing costs. According to Moody's, nearly 8 million Americans would lose their jobs, and our international reputation would be damaged in the extreme.
National headlines with Jake.
If we have, yeah, right. That's where you come to squaring around for those national headlines. Those sweet national
You
headlines.
guys have been waiting on it. You didn't know that the country was headed towards a default on their loan, historic default.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. So if we have a country in a month and a half, 4 guys are probably going to head out. Maybe 3 guys head out. Now the question is, who are those 3 guys? And is fan favorite Ty Evans one of those 3 guys? I would probably lean yes, but again, we're getting to that weird time where coaches are making decisions. Guys are in the weight room. They're already figuring out what the depth chart looks like. First game is in early September, so we have like 4 months. Dudes kind of got to make some decisions here soon. Coaches have depth charts to kind of put into print. We got to figure out where some of these teams are, and if you're a quarterback leaving the most important position on the field, you're not looking at playing time if you leave around, if you leave in June, you're not going to get the playing time. You might not get playing time at Texas State either, the way that we have 7 QBs.
About 2 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, was it a month and a half? I don't know. I'm losing track of time and space and reality, and suddenly we're getting 4- and 5-star recruits left and right. It doesn't feel like the same university I graduated from, Zimmel. But I went on the air with Dave Campbell's, told Greg Tepper that, hey, Malik's our guy.
I think it's fair to say that the quarterback situation at Texas State has been an adventure the past couple of years. Is there hope among the Bobcat faithful that Malik Hornsby could be the answer there under center for the Bobcats?
Yes, and I'm here to put the rumors at rest. I know the coaching staff won't say this. That is our quarterback.
Yeah.
That's our guy.
That was obviously before the spring game. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before then. I have the spring game depth chart brought to you by our guy, Alex Powell, who just left Texas State. He was their graphics guy. This is one of the last things he made. And he's got a handy-dandy depth chart with some additions and notes I've made too. So this was our quarterbacks for the spring game, right? Malik Hornsby, CJ Rogers, Derek Mata, Ty Evans. Obviously, I think Ty Evans won a lot of hearts and minds that game. If you ask me, it was clearly either the 2 or 3 that day. CJ obviously had a really good showing too. Poised after coming from Baylor, kind of didn't get a lot of playing time. Nobody actually played last year compared to this one dude who left, who may or may not have paid coaching staffs to get game reps. A different story. And a $30 jersey later, here we are with 7 quarterbacks, 2 of which are from great teams.
Yeah, man, it's like, I don't know. You threw CJ's name in there from Baylor. That's not a great team to you, playing in Waco?
No, it's a good team. I just think he was overshadowed by whoever was there.
Okay.
He was at Baylor the last 2 years, but obviously the reason he didn't get playing time over there is the same reason he didn't get playing time over here.
This is true. Now, this would be an interesting question for our guy Colton. I'm going to pitch it to you and see what your answer is. Are these quarterbacks better than any quarterback that GJ has had? Is this the best quarterback room that he's had?
Room? Probably not. Quarterbacks, I don't know. Lindsey Scott Jr. is an amazing quarterback.
So here's my take. I think that we are kind of overrating these FCS quarterbacks. And that, I know I'm coming from North Dakota, where North Dakota State is the pride and joy of every North Dakota. I think that we overrate some of these FCS quarterbacks. I think that the way the game is played at the FBS level, the Pac or the Power 5 level, and the Group of 5 level to a smaller extent, those guys are just better. They're just more talented. They're better athletes. They're just better quarterbacks. I think this might be his best quarterback room. What I'm concerned about is that this is the first time that he's had not Power 5, but Group of 5 FBS level commitment, right? And you're getting these Power 5 quarterbacks. And it's kind of like the guy that goes to the buffet and he doesn't know if he wants pizza or fried chicken or macaroni and cheese, and he just puts it all on the plate. And I'm worried that that's what we're doing here with the quarterbacks, is that we don't know what quarterback we want. We don't know what type of quarterback we want, so we're just taking it all from the buffet, which is fine. But at some point, you got to pick. You can't just have all of it on the plate. You got to pick one entree. You know what I mean?
I think GJ's just really good at craps, you got to hedge your bets on a lot of things. And he's like,
you think so? So you think that's what he's doing? He's just hedging the bets?
Yes. Mostly because, right, he inherits partially a quarterback room in CJ Rogers, Ty Evans, and Derek Mata, right? Obviously, no game film on any of them. Could have probably gotten the second quarterback at UIW, got a quick commit there, just been like, okay, I have something. I have one arm that I know can throw a football in a game. But I think this is really kind of shaping up into like another Bachelor type episode, Zimmel, because it's my favorite segment to do. We did this with the coaches that were kind of pulling through. We're tethered to those. Like we have no input or anything really with anything that goes on here. But as we're kind of getting introduced to these guys, it's like, oh, well, what was the impression? What was the first rose? Who did the first rose go to? And what did the guys do to make an impression on the girls night one? So
Malik Hornsby clearly has the first rose. Would you
so?
say he was the first quarterback to get a rose? TJ Finley, he comes in. He's coming off camera. The producers have kind of shuttled him in. They're like, hey, this is a former ex-boyfriend. Here you go. And now he's in the room. And we have some tape on him. We know what he can do in the back of a car. What does his look like? You know what I mean?
What he can do in the back of a car.
The producers know. Well, I'm using your Bachelor analogy. You know what I mean? We know what he looks like in the pocket. We know what he looks like on the run.
Okay, so then we go. So I said we had 7, right? We're knocking out Malik, TJ, just kind of introing these guys. PJ and CJ. I would be remiss if I didn't say TJ, PJ, CJ, coached by GJ. That's what the joke everybody's been making on Twitter. I would be remiss if I did not use it on my own show.
Can I boo you?
Yes.
Boo! Bad Twitter joke.
Nice. But I think PJ and CJ are kind of fighting for that 3 or 4 spot, honestly. And then after that, it gets kind of murky because you get Ty Evans, Carson Kaiser, Derek Mata, I think, is done. I think this ship has sailed.
Does he even get a rose?
No, he gets cut.
No rose.
Night one.
Tough stuff.
One of those guys that may not even have talked to the Bachelorette, really. And then they always get the excuse like, oh, I didn't have enough time. Derek Mata, I'm sorry, but you've been here for 4 or 5 years at this point, I think.
Didn't have enough time. Didn't have enough time with GJ. Couldn't get the rose. Yeah. I get it.
You know what's a weird thing on the Bachelorette or the Bachelor is whoever gets to kiss on night one is like, that's always kind of means something, even if you don't get a thing. So I think some of those first impressions really mean a lot too. Everybody lost their mind on Twitter when TJ was announced. The same kind of, I think, I guess, enthusiasm when Malik was thing. But my thing is now I'm kind of like shell shocked. It's like happening every single day. And none of these things really feel special to me anymore because it's like, oh, okay. And like, have we won any games yet? None of this.
You'll never,
if it doesn't matter.
You never forget your first. You never forget your first. And that's why you're a Malik guy. I am somebody who can kind of adapt and move on. I'm a person who's been burned many times by many different quarterbacks. I'm more distant. I see these first roses. I'm going to keep everybody in arm's length. We got to go home to meet the parents before I'm even thinking about putting out with any of these quarterbacks.
Oh man, I couldn't even tell you if we were taking these quarterbacks to hometown. So the Bachelorette style this episode is becoming, but that's a big thing in itself too. So yeah, I don't know. So
don't try to out Bachelor me, dude. I
can out Bachelor you.
No.
Yes, I can.
Here's the difference, folks. The difference is between a guy that watches The Bachelor with his girlfriend and a guy that watches The Bachelor to get a girlfriend.
No.
You watch it on the couch and you just absorb.
I watched this show with my mother and grandmother growing up, grew a love for ABC programming, became an ABC affiliate producer in Corpus Christi. Loved that show. Pitched a pilot episode to my news director. And now I work for a CBS affiliate, so can't really watch.
Now you're a Survivor guy.
Now a Survivor guy, yeah. An amazing
This is a great episode. Bookmark this episode, folks. This is a good one.
This is a good one. But yeah, I don't know. Because to me, it's like I'm kind of, I don't know, numb to it almost. It's like, whoa. I guess almost it feels like Texas State could have been doing this the whole time, which is like a very basic opinion at this point, and they just didn't. Which is crazy to consider that an institution of higher learning in 2022, 2021, 21st century as a whole would be sitting on potentially millions of dollars.
Can I give you a rebuttal?
Go ahead.
I don't think Texas State could have done this 5 years ago. I think it took NIL deals, and I think it took the transfer portal to really get this started. I think that if you had a situation even 5 years ago where guys committed to schools and didn't leave until they were grad transfers or didn't leave until there was like something really bad. A coach gets fired, a coach leaves, that they decided to leave the school. Because of the transfer portal, schools like Texas State are benefiting, especially at the quarterback position, of guys who are willing to go to different locations, try to get their stock up, and potentially leave again to an even bigger payday NIL deal or a bigger playing time or a bigger stage, right? We're going to see in the next couple of years, Jacob, I'm telling you, we're going to see on the biggest stages, on the biggest games on Saturday night, you're going to look at guys and say, I remember when they played at Bowling Green. I remember when they played at Troy. I remember when they played at Texas State, because there's going to be quarterbacks who go to a Clemson, Oklahoma, Texas, don't want to compete, go to a Texas State, go to a South Alabama, go to a Southern Miss, play for 2 years, and then go and play for another school in their 4th year of eligibility or 5th year of eligibility and try to compete and try to win a national title. That is the way the system is built right now. I don't think 5 years ago Texas State would be getting these 5-star recruits.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also like 5 years ago. What is that? 2016?
2018.
2018? 2018 is 5 years ago? Oh my God, we're old. What do you call it? I know it's just the Alumni Association. We don't have anything cool like Texas Exes or something. Well, do you have a pitch for the Alumni Association to change their name?
To change their name?
Old Cats is mine.
Straight out of San Marcos, but spell it S.
Lame.
Okay.
Straight out of San Marcos?
I mean, yeah. Why not? Just
Old
really,
Cats.
really use that George Strait logo. Just go to the toe line of copyright infringement.
That's fine.
Yeah. Go to the toe line of copyright infringement before you get caught.
But what is the draw, I guess, besides the university being beautiful?
Playing time.
Good
conference, good television contract that you get at least one game on ESPN.
This would have been decidedly different though had this been like a year 2 or year 3 from GJ, and like them being like maybe 6-6, 7-5 or something like that. Would you say?
You also have to consider the fact that Withers took a program that was just getting into the FBS, right? In 2015, he kind of took over. They're just becoming kind of like a team that people recognize on the FBS level. They're in a conference like the Sun Belt that people know. It's taken this long to build the program to this point. I'm telling you, what fans, you who think that this is something we could have been doing this entire time, I hate to break the news to you. I don't think this is something we could have been doing, and I'm glad that we're doing it now, because with Tice as the AD, there was a lot of hand holding. There was a lot of hand behind the back holding. You know what I mean? You kind of twisting some guys' arms. Now with Don, who looks very much like a guy who wants to get athletics as far ahead of the front porch as possible, I think we're in a better situation.
Yeah. No.
Let me ask you. I'm not asking. I'm telling you this. The difference between Kelly and Trouth is that Trouth wanted research to be the front porch and said we can't have sports be the front porch because sports are fun, and we're trying to get away from that party school, the party school reputation. Whereas Kelly looks at it and goes, I want research to be the front and foremost, but I understand that even with that being the front and foremost, it's never going to beat athletics. Athletics will always be the front porch. It just is. Unless you're an Ivy League school, it just is. Sorry to break the news to you.
I don't know if he believes that necessarily. I think he serves on all these committees in the NCAA and the
You give him true
beyond. So it's like, how could he not, understand the implications of having a team in the Final Four, having, something like that.
We allegedly have him in the next couple of days, right? In a couple weeks, we're going to have Kelly Dampus on. Yeah. When he comes on, bookmark it. We'll ask him that question.
I think, I don't know. Well, you can argue research is at the front and foremost, as you were saying, because he has that Run to R1 campaign where Texas State's trying to go from a tier 2 research institution, go to a tier 1. Part of that includes doctoral programs and more stuff coming to Texas State, more research, more everything. Anything
he understands that should be the goal, but it's never going to be like that. Especially in Texas, athletics will always be the front porch. And if athletics is fun, if people have fun at sporting events, I'm sorry, if people want to party in the end zone, that's just what they're going to do. They're going to have fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I still maintain Trouth was the builder. She signed a lot of checks.
You had a good relationship with Trouth. Not a lot of people did.
Relatively speaking, yes.
So I'm saying you're coming from a personal experience, whereas like the rest of us are coming from like an outside looking in. You know what I mean? You were in
That's
those
why,
rooms.
like, I've had a relationship with both these presidents right now in the modern era. So it's like,
it's not. I don't think it's comparable.
well, no, it's not. You're right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, two different styles of leadership completely, and a
Well,
lot of
also you were in rooms. You were physically in rooms with Trout, right? And you don't have that level of access to Kelly, do you?
Not yet. I DM him on stuff all the time though, and I see him at games. He says, "What's up?"
Okay, I'm just trying to paint a full picture here.
No, I mean he's super accessible. He'd talk to anybody. It's not because like I'm a member of the media or anything that he's talking to me. It's just like I just DM'd him, so he did.
Okay.
You know, I have him as a friend on Facebook actually. So
really,
we're Facebook official.
I don't. I use Facebook for my real friends, so I don't turn down a couple friends' requests because I don't know the people. I just don't. I'm like, and Kelly, I'm sorry. Maybe we could be friends. Come on the podcast, and we'll talk.
We do have him booked. A date TBD though in time. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely looking forward to talking to him. He's such a sports guy. He had pro hockey dreams. So one of the main things we'll be talking to our university president Kelly Danfus about.
Pro hockey dreams, pro football dreams for you. Like a lot of failed athletic careers on this podcast.
Things go hand in hand, honestly. Yeah, baseball, hockey, football, arena football. I was looking for something. I was a cry for help, really, when I tried out for that team. Okay, so we're moving past, I guess, the quarterback stuff. Obviously, commitments still rolling in. These are still commitments to me, which almost means nothing. It's a person saying, yes, I would like to come to Texas State, but I have not signed because such and such. And some of these guys have signed, and they just haven't announced it officially,
Yeah. I think it's a real generational. We made fun of Jessica, but there's a real generational deal between this because in yesteryear, a commitment was essentially your word saying you were going to come to the school, and a decommitment was looked upon very harshly. People were not happy. Alums were not happy when athletes decommitted from schools. But now I feel like we're very desensitized to it, that like if you are an athlete, you commit to a school, then you decommit, and you decide to go somewhere else. I think, again, thanks to social media, I think that we're a little bit more accepting of guys wanting to move around.
And not only just moving around, but like putting your left foot in the portal, taking it right back out, shaking around, jumping back in. It's all possible now.
What is your reaction going to be in 12 months? Well, let's do 10 months. In 10 months, when Texas State finishes the season with a bowl win and they're 7-6 to end the year, and guys want to leave, what will your reaction be?
I think like most people, I'll be kind of like, hey, what the hell? We were almost there. Or not even almost there. We accomplished a lot of things compared to, the programs from yesteryear to now,
So you're going to be disappointed in guys leaving?
I would be disappointed, but I'm never like, I'm the program's #1 bag watcher. So if it helps you and it helps your family, every right, go do what's best for you and your family and your situation in life. Obviously these guys all have pro aspirations, whether or not they do that or not. But trying to, we talked to some former players, having the ability to prove yourself, that means a lot, in a physical sense, in a mental sense, like whatever you take with you on the field and then you end up transferring off the field, that's like immense power. So I don't know, I don't fault anybody for chasing a dream or for pursuing something else that maybe won't include Texas State.
I'm in the same page. I'm in the same boat as you. The only stipulation I have is if you Kyrie Irving me. If you tell me that you're here for 4 years, if you have a big commitment and say I can't wait to spend the next 4 years at Texas State, and you leave in 2 or you leave in a year, I'm going to have issues. That's the only stipulation I have. If you tell me you're going to be here and you're doing it, then, I'm going to be upset. But if you come to Texas State, I'm thinking mostly about Malik Hornsberry here. If you come to Texas State, you put up the numbers, you win Newcomer of the Year, and then you move on to Cincinnati or you move on to Baylor or A&M or whatever, right? And you're going to go try to win a national title or whatever. No problems here. Don't tell me that you were here for 4 years. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it.
I get weirded out the most when people who are not the starters transfer. So it's like the guy who's like 3 or 4 on the depth chart being like, I'm done. It's like, well, hey, were you going to start here? Or is this kind of like you chasing a thing that may not be a thing? Like it could just be cooler to be part of a culture, and help.
Yeah, have fun at Sam Houston State.
Huh? Yeah.
Have fun at Sam Houston State. Have fun at Tarleton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think, especially when you compare, we're talking a lot about culture at Texas State. Obviously, Texas State has a great culture, great student life, great everything. It's amazing. I feel super recharged anytime I'm back in.
Great drink specials.
Great drink specials too. That's part of the reason I feel so recharged when I'm back in San Marcos. But like, I don't know. It's like, why would you leave? Why would you leave that to go to Tarleton? To go to Stephenville?
100%.
To go to what's
100%. I totally get that. And
to me, I'd rather just ride the bench.
It feels like a slap in the face. But back to your commitments thing and not caring as much. I think you feel about commitments like I feel about stars. I've seen a lot of stars. I've seen a lot of guys not live up to that. I've seen a lot of commitments. I've seen a lot of guys dip out at the last second. Getting a commitment's good. Getting them on campus is even better.
I feel like that's all we want to talk about for commitments and stuff.
Yeah.
As I was mentioning, it's late summer, so we got some springtime stuff to get out of the way. The first is the Sunbelt Conference tournament. Came and went for softball. And we were a little nervous because we didn't know this is kind of a fringe team now, Obviously, the Sunbelt's really good marquee program for softball, but does that mean Texas State gets in, or are we kind of just left with no partner at the dance? Ultimately, they're in the Austin Regional, which is why I hate and love the fact that San Marcos is so close to Austin because we're always grouped in there, regardless of the fact. We play A&M on Friday, which is scary in its own right. We played them once before, but this was without our ace, Jessica Mullins. Andy, panic level?
Going into this tournament, like we talked to Jessica. Go listen to that podcast. It's really good. She's really funny. If it doesn't work out doing softball, I think that we could work with her as a good podcast co-host. I can get rid of you.
Honestly, yeah.
We can get her on full time.
You're Brant Freeman, and she was Kat Osterman in that moment. It was great.
Mini Brant Freeman, Andrew Zimmel. I love it. Look, I would be lying to you if I said that I did not feel a little bit of panic coming into A&M. I think that Jessica, of course, is going to feel like she is the best pitcher in the conference because she probably is. She feels like she's one of the best pitchers in the country because she is. A&M is not a team that you can sleep on. It's double elimination. I would like to get a win against A&M to start. I think that beating A&M to start the conference or start the tournament would feel like the right way to go. And I have a sneaking suspicion UT is going to beat Seton Hall. So if Texas State and UT have to play in that game 2, and Jessica gets to pitch in game 2 against the UT, then it's a grudge match. And you got to remember, you mentioned Kat Osterman. She is the link between these two schools. The greatest college softball player ever. She also coached at Texas State, right? And I know she'd be in the stands. I know she'll probably be in the arena for all of them. I'm excited for Friday. I'm going to give a score prediction. Can I give a score prediction?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go Texas State 2, A&M 0. I think Jessica blanks them.
Blanks them. Ooh.
Blanks them.
It. Yeah.
2-0 win.
I told her on that podcast I would bet everything I own that she's starting.
And if she doesn't, we have a whole different podcast talking next week.
Absolutely. So
do you have a score?
4-6. Texas State's bats come alive and they rally back.
6-4.
6-4. No, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think if it's a 4, she gives up 4 runs, like that would be shocking to me. I'd be surprised. And I'd be surprised if we score 6 the way that the bats have worked for us recently.
I think her highest single game ERA this season is like 11. So
she's given up 11 runs.
I think so.
We need research on that.
Hang on. Game ERA. 11 runs at Troy. 10 runs at South Al.
That shit's tough. Jessica, you're letting me down.
No, she's great. I mean, those teams are obviously stacked. Louisiana, I didn't know had such a great team. Also, I want to talk about this for our Sunbelt folk out there. But University of Louisiana Lafayette in college. Anytime I would
they
mess up
hate-
their name,
Stop. They hate when you do that.
that's their name. Is there not?
They like to be called Louisiana.
But they're the University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
They dropped Lafayette. They dropped at Lafayette.
So it's just
I'm just
ULL. It's still ULL.
But I'm telling you, they don't like to be called Louisiana Lafayette. They just like to be called Louisiana. I don't know if you're doing this as a bit or not, but that's I'm good with either one.
I think I'll always call them University of Louisiana at Lafayette because that's what they're called. That's literally their university name still.
Yeah, but the
University
athletic program dropped the Lafayette. Yeah.
Yeah, but the university program, the athletics program is not in charge of university branding.
They are for athletic branding.
Yeah, athletic branding, you can call yourselves Louisiana all you want. You
Right.
still be the most relevant team in Louisiana.
I'm just letting you know that they dropped the Lafayette. ULM was really pissed about it.
ULL still. Anyway,
Okay.
their SIDs are the most annoying anytime. In college, it would happen all the time.
They're going to be a lot more annoying now.
Will they? Won't they?
Cut
I
the
hope they
clip.
listen to
Clip
this
it.
podcast.
Clip it.
The Ragin' Cajun team. I think they're amazing at softball. They've won the tournament like 5 times or something like that. Crazy.
Very good softball program.
Very good softball team.
Where's my banner?
May not be good at naming things, is my point.
Tough. Yeah, I agree.
On the flip side, the other ballpark in town, baseball laid a big stinker at TCU, which actually saw Steven Trout's first ejection of the year. He got ejected the quietest manner possible. I have this clip on our YouTube or on our Twitter at Squarin Pod if you want to check it out. It's the quietest ejection in the entire world. Basically, obviously, Coach Trout coaches third base all the time. He's out there. Third base comes up to him. Words are exchanged. Tosses Trout. He goes back to the bench. Everybody's flabbergasted. Pitching coach Chad Massengale's like dumbfounded. Like, what's going on here? Crazy. Madness at TCU. And he's a former Horned Frog who got tossed in that game.
Had to do it. Had to do it to him. Had to show up and get his money's worth.
Ribbit. Yeah.
So, Mr. Bagwatcher, what's the fine there?
I'm not sure. Because I was trying to look up the live stats too, because I wanted to see what frame of the game he got tossed in. This is at the top of the second, I'm pretty sure. TCU's
really into it. Wow.
Yeah. Top of the second, TCU's on the mound. And I was trying to see like what pitch they were at when all this happened. And I couldn't log in to the stat site because it was privatized by the Big 12 media group. So I was just screwed, basically. Yeah.
Big 12 media. Big 12 media. Trying to prevent you from getting your stats, your sweet, juicy stats.
Oh, man.
Well, Steven Trout, shout out to you. You were not the only coach to be ejected. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. I will say when we played UTSA in what they call the Bird Bath, which is aptly named because it is horrible, worst baseball stadium I've ever been in, bar none, including all high school stadiums I've been in the Valley and in most of Central Texas.
That's saying something. Some of those Valley stadiums are really nice. I played in Laredo one time. I really liked it.
Laredo is not the Valley.
Anyway, McAllen had really good stadiums.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
You know do you remember the McAllen Little League team that went to like the Little League World Series?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
So, do you know San Antonio adopted that team? That they were like, that's like our team.
That's our team now?
Yeah. I just wanted to put that out there.
No, I didn't know that. Kind of hurts my feelings.
So,
I understand.
Why does it hurt your feelings?
Well, because Valley teams never make it that far. High school football playoffs, obviously we're on Dave Campbell's football podcast, so I can talk about this, but they call it Valley Week, not Dave Campbell's, just pejoratively UIL football mom TikTok Twitter community. Valley Week. You usually play a Valley Week or Valley team first week, by district play or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. And most Valley teams with the little Mexican kids with mohawks and bleached hair, a lot of crying faces at the end of those games when they play San Antonio, Judson, or Converse, or whatever. Insert Cibolo Steel. Oh my gosh, those are horrible games to watch.
Yep.
But we don't get very many teams that make it to the big shows like that. So to hear that you Bandera, San Antonio area teams,
we just adopted. We were like McAllen, Texas, man. Good kids. Go Texas. You know, we're like they're one of us.
I never can get behind those. Like I would never root for the Texans or the Rockets or anything like that. Like my teams are my team. I don't care where you're from. You're not my team.
I rooted for the Mavericks. I rooted for the Mavericks in 2006 because I was like, let's get all the Texas teams with a ring.
Lame.
Then they lost.
Yeah, I'm a real team guy. So now TCU lost that game. It was also during the Victor Wembanyama stuff. I came back. They gave up 5 runs in between that time. I was like, what's going on here? It all came in like I think the 4th or 5th inning. So bummer. They come back home to play ULM, the University of Louisiana at Monroe. I don't think there's been a name change with that one yet. So, yeah.
But the reason is Louisiana Lafayette, aptly named by you, right? They went and said, we want to drop the Lafayette. And everybody was like, yeah, sure, drop the Lafayette. ULM was like, wait, we can just drop it? So they feel like they lost out. They feel like they could have been Louisiana. You know what I mean? So
they kind of Texas Stated it because Texas State, if you'll remember, was the university or Texas State University at San Marcos, and everybody was kind of like, this is post Southwest Texas State University days, and so they belong to the Texas State University system. That system, obviously, the marquee school in there is us, Texas State University. Believe it or not, that school group also includes Lamar, Sam Houston. What am I forgetting? Whatever. Those are the big 3, basically. And a few others. We also have actually an agreement right now with Laredo Community College to get people from Laredo to come to Texas State. So shout out them.
It's a feeder school, bro. It's our blend.
Feeder school. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Our blend, but in Laredo. So time you too can become a Bobcat. But anyway, so Texas State and the Texas State University system put forth this bid to become Texas State University, and before basically all the other system schools were able to do it. And that's how they were able to do it. So they have the best name, the best part of it too. And when you look up the Texas State University system, first school that pops up, boom, us. So
good history lesson there, Jake.
Pretty smart because I guess Louisiana is doing it now.
Did it in the last couple of years.
Took a while.
I learned the hard way. I called them Lafayette for a long time. People were not happy. And I was reprimanded. They told me, call us by our real name. And I said, Lafayette. They said, no, Louisiana. I said, okay. So Monroe goes by Monroe. Lafayette now goes by Louisiana.
His name is Muhammad Ali.
I suppose nobody in here ever heard of Cassius Clay. We got a point. Cassius Clay was a bad motherfucker. Hey, I ain't saying Clay ain't bad. I'm just saying I stopped liking Cassius Clay once you change the name to Muhammad Ali. What kind of shit is that?
Wait a second. A man has the right to change his name to whatever he wants to change it to. And if a man wants to be called Muhammad Ali, God damn it, this is a free country. You should respect his wishes and call the man Muhammad Ali.
His mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Exactly.
Barbershop.
Yep.
Coming back home, I think they can sweep ULM and make conversation that, hey, we're here to play. We can make a difference. Whether or not they win the Sun Belt Conference tournament is a completely different story because they ran into a buzzsaw, Coastal Carolina, and Southern Miss is really hot again too. So 2 hot teams. Texas State kind of petering out cold right now. I don't know how I feel about it, but they have shown up in really big moments. This is their May baseball, basically. The face of May.
I think they're going to do what they did a couple years ago, the Cardiac Cats. I think they're just going to be a team that gets hot at the right moments. Don't expect them to stay hot for long periods of time. That's my take.
Good takeaway from yesterday. Chase Mora, freshman sensation, 16th home run on the year. Monster season. And that's one of the big takes I was seeing on Bobcat Twitter yesterday is, if they waste Mora's super crazy sensational freshman season, like, dang, this whole kind of campaign was for naught almost, You got a freshman who's DHing basically. Crazy. Also, he was recruited as a pitcher. Then he had Tommy John surgery. Then he became one of the best hitters in the country. He was put on a bunch of short lists for watch lists across the year. Does he try to pitch again? Or is he cool just playing second base?
It depends. It kind of depends on what Texas State needs, too. Because I imagine if they go out and recruit and they can't find another pitcher that throws 90 miles per hour, but they got Mora who's hitting like 87s in bullpen, I bet they say, like, hey, how would you like to come back to pitch? But again, if your bat's hot, you want to keep him in the lineup. I can see a situation where he Ohtani's it. I think there's going to be more and more of those type of players where you get guys that like, hey, if we need him in, a bullpen situation, we take him out in the fourth inning, warm his arm up, let him pitch in the back half of the game. I can see situations like that to keep his bat in the lineup on the everyday lineup.
I agree. A good take. Cool. Well, now we've loosely tied a bow on things again before it all spills out. It's like a turducken. Things just keep getting put inside it. And now we're trying to wrap these huge things of string, basically living, day to day almost with these commits. And again, I want to say commits. I refuse to call them Bobcats yet until they sign a paper and they're in San Marcos.
Till they're here.
Till
they're in the Texas State
Till the
jersey.
ink is dry and they're in practice.
I get it. No, I understand what you're saying. You're going to be calling some guys commits for a while because they commit when they're juniors, but I understand.
That's fair, yeah.
You also call them little Bobcats.
Little Bobcats?
Little Bobcats. He's a little Bobcat.
He's a cub. Is that what you call him?
He's a cub. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're flagging guys for 2025 too. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're going to be calling them commits for a while.
Well, down. Cool. So Jerry's still out basically, and I guess we officially have a quarterback battle in San Marcos. This will be interesting.
We'll keep you up to date on it. Keep taking the temperature.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.